Well, hello there, my lads. It is I, Vulgrin, the crossbow-loading, C4 exploding survival hunter main, and I welcome you back. Now, if you've never heard of me before and you're wondering what this is about, or if you're a returning pal wondering what the hell's going on this time, here it is. Pretty much exactly a month ago, I re-rolled my Shadowlands main and started playing a survival hunter. I did it because I wanted to try something different and because I liked the quirky, unique nature of the spec. Over time I started to really enjoy myself, and I also became aware of how controversial survival actually is, with many people seeing it as either a cheeky underdog or the sole source of all evil in the world and the reason for their parents' divorce. Being an odd bastard, I decided it would be fun to take my new hunter and go on a bit of an adventure, gearing up and exploring the spec more, to find out if it really is what I initially thought. A fun, unique specialisation that might not be optimal, but is certainly able to hold its own, and is certainly enjoyable to play. And here we are, a month in. Where do I stand? Well, I'll be honest with you, I still fucking love it. Oh man, there's something about this spec, and about the weird subculture surrounding survival at the moment, which just grips me even beyond the fun I get from the actual gameplay. I feel like this really is an underdog, and that makes me feel even more committed to my character. It's a strange feeling you don't tend to get from playing a more universally accepted spec. Going into a BG as the only survival hunter, and then coming out strong at the end, feels like a vindication. Plus I get to slap people in the face with a massive polearm, which is great because I like it when my IRL and WoW hobbies line up. Anyway, if you're interested, here's where I'm at progress-wise. I've only played as survival, I've not touched marksman and I've not touched BM, and I've only done PvP. I just don't get bored of it, it's really fun stepping into those BGs on my hunter. My eye level is currently 180, not great, not terrible, but it's exciting because I'm starting to get to the point where rated PvP is the only option for upgrades. I'm rocking the latent poison legendary, and I tell you what, things have actually gotten so much easier in the last week or so when it comes to this PvP adventure. So there was a period, right, I'm not gonna lie, when I kind of wondered whether I had made the right call, deciding to do a series like this. The truth is, when you hit max level now, you are weak as shit. You might have been doing fine up until level 59, but when you tick over into 60, my god, you are gonna get your ass handed to you all the time. It's tough. But it does make it feel so much sweeter when you start to get up above about 175 eye level, and then you get a good legendary. Suddenly you're able to hold your own and actually win BGs for your team if you play your cards right. Honestly, since getting that Lego, the latent poison one, and bringing my eye level up to a somewhat reasonable point, my win ratio has gone up massively. I think I've won like 10 of my last 12 BGs on the bounce, and done well in all of them. Feels good, man. And other than the issue of being weak at max level until you start to get gear, there's not a whole lot I have to say that's negative about survival, even after a month of playing it non-stop. The main issue I've honestly got is pet AI, but that's the same no matter what you're playing, it's not a survival specific problem. I should note that I've not touched PvE at all. It's not that I've tried it and I've been rejected from groups or anything like that, I've just honestly focused purely on PvP, and with the new gearing system, that's like totally fine, it's great. It feels awesome knowing that you can spend all your time in PvP and gear up that way, you don't run out of stuff to do, to be honest with you. That being said, I do think it would be fun to try and do a Mythic Plus challenge at some point on survival though, primarily because that Mythic Plus style of content isn't a game mode that I've really spent a huge amount of time on in Shadowlands. In fact, generally speaking, Mythic Plus has never been a focus of my experience, so it will be fun to explore it. The positive comments on the spec that I made at the start, a month ago that is, they still stand, but I want to add a few more in. You see, now that I'm starting to improve as a player in general when it comes to PvP, which I freely admitted at the start of this series was not an area of the game which I was particularly experienced in, I've started to see other cool aspects of not just survival but the hunter in general, which I already knew shone in PvE but actually work really well in PvP too. CC in BGs as survival is so much fun, and that's where you start to be able to take on multiple enemies simultaneously. I've seen my man Soulscape pull this sort of thing off at insane levels, trapping one person, putting down a steel trap on another, using intimidation, backing off, rushing in, going and then pulling back a bit. But honestly, even something like a 2v3, when you're able to shut down and kite combined with the amazing burst potential and target switching of survival, it is a joy to get right, especially once you have a bit of gear behind and you start really hitting hard on that burst. And I must confess, I take a sick pleasure in fighting other hunters now. Like, pitting survival against marksmanship is something which I find really interesting. It doesn't always go well, of course, but when it does, I just get this Sith Lord vibe, like, I've become more powerful than any marksman. It's a good feeling, man, it's a good feeling. And that about sums it up. Survival feels good, and I do not regret my choice in the slightest. If anything, the spec feels better now that I actually have a bit more experience in gear to make it work as it should. So lads, you tell me, what do you want to see next? Where do you want to take our spear-wielding, Morat summoning hunter now? You tell me, and let me know if you're enjoying this survival journey as much as I am. Be well lads, and stay tuned, there is much, much more to come. The survival vindication must go on. Cheers boys, have a good one, I'll see you later, bye bye.